out of all the questions I had about football, I want to actually ask you one football-related question that's got 2 parts, and that's it.
Good.
So, and then we'll have 5 minutes. We'll plug all your stuff and wrap it up, and we'll get you out of here.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I wanted to ask somebody who's dedicated their whole life to sport is who, in your history of watching AFL football, have been your favourite players? Let's answer that one first.
Okay. How many am I allowed?
5.
Jeez. Okay. Well, for various reasons, Gary Ablett Senior, the most gifted footballer I've ever seen. Like he did stuff that no other player I've seen was physically capable of doing. And what am I talking about? Things like snapping goals over his shoulder from 55 metres out. An incredible combination of power and strength and rare athletic gifts. Just a football genius. You know, a bit of a car crash in other ways, unfortunately, but a football genius and just so gifted. So he's certainly one. Other ones tend to be a bit more sentimental. A name that might surprise people, I mentioned the 1984 Grand Final, Leon Baker.
Oh, okay.
Came to Essendon at the age of 28, played in those 84-85 premierships. Only played 5 seasons, but one of the neatest, most compact, most efficient footballers I've ever seen. Should have won that Norm Smith medal for his performance in the 84 Grand Final, kicked 4 goals. The magnificent blind turn, one of the great moments in football.
I don't know Leon Baker.
History. I can't believe you say you're an Essendon supporter.
I knew you would hate that.
Have you not seen highlights of the 84 Grand Final?
I've watched the 84 Grand Final.
Okay, well, the bit where the guy taps the ball in front of himself and blind turns and kicks a goal. That's Leon Baker.
Yeah.
Number 4.
It was years ago.
Educate yourself, Bill. You need to. So, and Tim Watson, another hero of mine, he said Leon was as good a footballer as he ever watched. So, and a great story too, Leon. He was a bit of a hippie and a bit of a football nomad, and he played all over the country in Cairns and Bunbury and Perth, and came to Melbourne late, and just had immediate impact. Famously media shy, hardly ever did an interview. Came back here in 2015 for the reunion of those flag sides, and I got to interview him at length. And it was such a great story. It's almost the favourite piece of journalism I've ever done.
Awesome.
So he's a hero. Tim Watson, another hero of mine, Job's dad for some of your vintage.
No. Tim Watson's Tim Watson to me.
Well,
Job's Tim Watson's son.
Superstar, 4 best and fairest, explosive, powerful player. I saw him play, again, how old I am. I saw him play his first game. Do you know how old he was when he played his first game? 15 and 10 months. It was out at Waverley in 1977. They played in a draw against Richmond. I was 12. I was sitting there watching it. I had his number on my duffel coat, Tim 32 Watson. Yeah. So he was always a hero of mine. Who else would I talk about? There's 3. In a sort of fan base perspective, they're probably going to be from your club. Who else have I enjoyed watching? Peter Dacos, he played for Collingwood.
Love Peter Dacos. Wasn't
great for Essendon in the 1990 Grand Final, but a bit of a freak around goals. Manufactured the dribble goals and stuff like that. So amazing to watch. In terms of it's funny. I probably need time to think about Wayne Carey, incredible player. A contemporary of Ablett's. I mean, how lucky. In fact, there was a game on Fox Footy the other night. It was a game between St Kilda and Sydney at the SCG in '94. St Kilda was still 6 goals down with 7 minutes left to play. They got up and won. Plugger Tony Lockett ended up kicking 11 goals. He was amazing to watch. Yeah. And that, I'll say this instead of nominate a particular person. That early 90s era, in fact, there was a podcast done last year called 1993, The Greatest Season That Was, which I agree with entirely, not just because Essendon won the premiership, but that was almost footy at its peak. Yep. It was a professional game, but it was still free-flowing and quite high-scoring.
Dunstall, Kernahan, Lockett,
Well,
Ablett.
That's what I was going to say. Yep. And the one moment in time you had Ablett, Dunstall, Lockett, Modra, Carey, Sumich, Kernahan, Salmon. it was incredible. I mean, you had 3 guys that season kick over 100 goals. The leading goal kicker these days kicks 60 something.
Yeah.
So
Tony Modra was. I was an Essendon supporter, but I wrote letters to Tony Modra because he was my favourite player, and they made me a Adelaide junior supporter.
Oh, really?
They just sent me all this Adelaide stuff. I'm like, I don't even fucking go for Adelaide, but I just like Tony Modra so much. I used to write fucking fan letters to him, I think. He was my favourite player.
Again, 93 preliminary final, Essendon and Adelaide. Adelaide 42 points up at half-time. Essendon comes back and wins. The single loudest roar I've ever heard at the MCG was in the third quarter of that game. And anyone listening who's an Essendon fan, probably maybe a bit older than you, will know the moment I'm talking about. It was like the whole ground was about to collapse. So loud was the roar as Essendon came back. Those moments are sort of my fondest memories, I think, of football, both in an aesthetic watching the game sense, but also professionally. I mean, to be able to, sit there in the press box, the MCG, best seats in the house, writing about your team winning a premiership. It doesn't get a lot better than that. It's been a long time since I had that memory, unfortunately.
All right, and you got 1 minute to answer this one because we want to get you out here on time. Who's the best player of all time, AFL footy? You only get one.
Look, I would say Ablett. Now, I need to qualify that. He doesn't have the best record, but he did stuff that no other player I've ever seen was capable of doing.
Yep.
So that, for me, is the best definition of best. Someone who did stuff...
Peak.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And, have a look at his highlight reel. Have a look at him kicking 14 goals against Essendon at the MCG in a losing side.
Yep.
In fact, that was a great story I didn't get the chance to tell you. It was about ghosting a column by Gary Ablett for the Sunday Age. That was a bizarre experience.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we can do that another time.
Yeah. Well, we probably need to come get you in and actually talk about footy, Rohan. I wanted to tell you about my footy career. I've won one senior premiership when I was playing.
Oh, well done.
And
who were
with? For Rye.
Oh, okay.
Rye Footy Club, Northern
okay.
Peninsula. And we actually were 43 points down in the halfway through the second. No, this isn't the prelim though. Halfway through the second quarter of the prelim.
Yeah.
And we stormed home, won by 3 points, and then we beat the undefeated reigning premiers by 3 points.
Was that Sorrento?
Nah, Langwarren.
Okay.
Yeah, but Sorrento were always our big rivals, and Sorrento have been pumping the last 10 years. Obviously, they've been winning all the flags.
Yeah.
Lots of my mates play at Sorrento and Franks and YCW. They've been very successful.
Yeah.
Local footy wise, but I don't play anymore. I haven't played for years. But